All right, it's all good. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our monthly scheduled public hearing of the Court of Common Council. Thank you all for being with us here in person and for all of you viewing at home. We are going to dive right in. First on our list, and just remind everybody of the rules. Everyone has 3 minutes. And please state your name and address for the record prior to your comments. And so we will jump right in. The first one on the list is Andrea Mesquita. Mesquita.
Good afternoon, councilmen, councilwomen, community individuals and personnel. My name is Andrea Mesquita, and today I'm here to talk to you on behalf of the issue of homelessness. I think there's a certain thought in terms of homelessness when that comes to mind. I'm here to talk about those who often tend to be forgotten, those who are invisible, that don't fall into those boxes that are easily ticked. I'm here to bring into, I'm trying to bring to light certain things that often happen to families who are homeless. And if I can, since I only have 3 minutes, what I'm requesting is an inquiry, an initial inquiry as to how the city is currently serving the homeless population, what services are being provided, and whether or not those are best meeting the needs of those who need it. I would like to, if this at all possible, the Salvation Army Marshall House, for the various shelter downtown and other organizations to be investigated to see whether or not families are indeed being served from the time they call 211 to the time they arrive at the shelter. I say people who become homeless a lot of them are invisible. You might see them on the roadside, you might see them asking for change, but there is a certain isolation that comes from families who have nowhere to go. They pick their children up from school, or I should say, we pick our children up from school. We bring them to school each morning. We go to church, we go to work, and at the end of the day, before going to a shelter, what we face is picking your child up and wondering, where am I going to go? Who can I count on? Calling 211 only to be told the shelters are full of procedures. Calling the governor's office only to be told certain things are not in effect. Going to agencies and being told you don't meet the requirements. You have to be literally on the street with your children to have a place to simply sleep. When you leave here, most of you, because I will not assume everyone, you will go home to your families. Families who are homeless. When they leave, there is always uncertainties, even when you are at the shelter. I was at the Salvation Army Marshall House for over 4 months, and during that time, myself and other families moved approximately 11 to 12 times due to the condition of the building. There were signs that indicated that there might have been mold. There was the HVAC system was not working, so on a 90-degree day, instead of getting cool air conditioner, it was like a sauna. During those 11 to 12 moves, we were treated as less than. Our voices were not heard. We were moved from place to place. I remember countless times having to say, listen, we are in this situation because I get it. My family and I are in this situation because of choices I probably made that did not live it. No, I'm not on drugs. No, I'm not illiterate. No, I was not an unwed mother. We come from many different backgrounds. It varies. Not all families get to that place simply because they didn't go to school. I am college educated. A lot of us are. A lot of us are not on drugs. And for those who are, we are still humans. I remember times where I've had to say, listen, my blood is red, it is not blue, just to try and extrapolate where, do not take our humanities from us. I don't want to get too emotional, but what I do want is an inquiry into what happened during the summer months at the Salvation Army, where the building was evacuated due to health concerns. These are issues that have been silenced, and so many families have wept, so many families have suffered, and so many families continue to go on invisible, unheard, unknown. And worst of all, those who are best in need are not assisted. Those who shout, those who roar, those who make noise, those whom they're somehow afraid of jeopardizing jobs or taking away funding, that's when those people are validated. That's when they will get Section 8. That's when they get out. But for those who simply say, listen, I'm trying to work, I want to work, I'm trying to find a job, I'm trying to do better, just help me with my families. And there are many of these families, but today their voices are not heard. I am asking you that you start an inquiry into these matters. It is not something that I alone face, but there are many like me who are invisible. You see us, but you don't know us. You see us, but you don't see us. Please give voice to those who have not been heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deutsch. Andrea.
Andrea.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sometimes our work is to ask questions of those who have just testified, and I thank you first for that, and ask you just a couple questions. Do you think we're prepared for this winter, for one thing? Second, in terms of the shelters, are you, there is, in theory, a homelessness commission, a commission on homelessness, which is not very active yet. And are you aware of that as a potential in initiating or supporting the inquiry that you ask for? And would you be interested, for instance, yourself or any others, in being on such a commission that would give it official status?
Sure. What I am aware is that there are many of what are called safeguards put in place, but there are people, what I also, having been homeless since the 17th of June, have come to realize is that a lot of people who look like me are vulnerable because the people who are doorkeepers and are able to assist do not look like me and do not feel for people who look like me. So therefore, it is why I sometimes have had to justify and say, look, I have a family, I've worked, I've gone to college, I am not on drugs. Some of us are, as in some families are, but we are still human because there is no humanity. The can that is centralized so that members from different shelters, members from different nonprofits get together and work on the issues of homelessness. In theory, it's a brilliant idea, but the heart is not there. Just like those who are there that are supposed to help, the heart is not there. So I don't know, I'm hoping that, yes.
Well, it gives impetus for more work, especially with cold weather coming, the lack of emergency shelter housing, except Willie Ware, which is just chairs and not beds and so on. So there are many conditions that we all have to step up to, and your help would be certainly welcome. You contact our office.
I will definitely help in whatever capacity I can.
Sure, thank you.
Minority Leader.
Through you, Council President. Andrea, thank you so much for your testimony tonight. I know that I'm sure it was very difficult for you to tell your story in this way, or maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but either way, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing the story. But beyond that, are you calling then for an audit of the agencies that receive funding for homeless families and homeless individuals?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. If you plan to stay for a little while, we only have a couple of speakers, so I would like to follow up with you offline when we're done.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Darren Mack.
Good evening. My name is Darren Mack, and I'm a junior at Hartford Public High School. And it is an honor to be in the presence of the City Council, other dignitaries, friends, and family. Before I begin, it is necessary that I express my gratitude towards Councilwoman Wildelise Bermudez for her tremendous efforts in supporting my cause in the community of Hartford, as well as the other councilmen. People like her and the rest of you are foundations for change and progress. I thank all of you for your work. I would like to speak about the ratification of the 13th Amendment, which abolished chattel slavery in the United States of America and took a step forward in the realization of a bold declaration that all are equal. In a community where our people are often looked down upon as the tail and not the head, this should be an event celebrated with pride. In a city that's primarily populated with Black and Latinos, it should be of paramount importance to commemorate a day of which unity prevailed amongst the people. December 6, 1865 heralded a day of meaningful change in our nation, a day deserving of commemoration of the people of color in our community. The fact itself makes it a worthy cause to be fought for. It is a noble undertaking, one that every American citizen who truly holds our fundamental principles within our hearts, ideas such as integrity, brotherhood, and equal rights for every human being that abides within our country. I have a plan for this project to remember this day and honor it throughout the city and state. It is my hope that we honor this day as a holiday, for it is more than deserving of such an honor. I plan on having a celebration at Hartford Public High School in the springtime, dedicating a plaque, along with planting a tree in honor of such an event. Now, of course, work must be done to achieve this, for this will be the culmination of our efforts to create meaningful change in our community. Work such as fundraising and spreading awareness will be done, but I'm confident that the support of the community and the council will sustain us. I have faith in our actions that will lead us towards our goal and even farther, a better future for the city of Hartford, the state of Connecticut, and the United States of America itself. In closing, my work for today to be recognized was done due to my own personal resolve. I tire of waiting for another to raise the issue. No longer will I wait for the actions of another to move me into change. If I must be the figurehead of the youth for change in Hartford, so be it. I know for myself that I cannot abide in a world of injustice without trying to honor our very good moments. I will take up the sword of light myself to do so. I thank you all for your time. May God bless you in all of your works. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and we look forward to supporting you in your efforts. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Eddie?
Good evening, Council. Happy holidays to all. I'm Edward Hagenbach, 170 Sisson Avenue. One thing's bothering me a lot, these shootings out here. They're really bothering me because I don't know what time, when, where, whatever, and I'll go onward. Is a cop going to bring out a gun and shoot them? I don't know what time, whatever. This has been 3 shootings I know of already. It's been really bothering me. I don't know if we're going to pass the drone ordinance and that might help out. I really don't know. I'm just where I'm just shaky sometimes when I go to my doctor in the North End. I don't know what to say. I don't say anything. I just go to the appointment. I get the heck out as soon as the appointment's over. I don't know what's going to be around the corner. It's been pretty hard in some neighborhoods. I hope this could be fixed with our chief. The second thing is, please, I've heard so many stories about where this grocery store is going to be. First of all, it's supposed to be behind the school. They don't want it. And it's supposed to be behind the clock, the Kenny clock. It's not there. They don't know where to build it yet. I wish we could fix the 4 parcels, or we could do something with downtown North so we don't get sued again. Because we haven't finished with that leg of it yet. So if we find an owner who wants to build a grocery store, he's not going to be coming to the, I don't know, it's going to be very tough, because it was an article in the Hartford News about it, and I'm saying, come on, Eddie, we still don't know where we can build it. We have the 4 parcels. We don't know what we're doing with them. I know we're still in rigmarole with the owner of the Dunkin' Donuts park. I know we're having problems, but can we please move forward? We want to build a new grocery store. I don't want to see it never built. I want to see it built. I'm very particularly angry that we can't find the land we want to build it on yet. We're still talking about where to build it. The school board doesn't want it behind the school, and it goes onward. So I wish this council could get together and work with our mayor and try to figure out wherever. And then the other parcels could be resolved sometime. I don't know. You know, it could go through, well, whatever it's got, I'm sorry, it can go through whatever it's got to go through. I don't care if it's the person's angry or we have a lawsuit. I hope we don't again. But it just feels like we can't go further with the 4 parcels. I wish we could iron it out. I've talked to Luke Bonin about it, and he says it's hard, Eddie. I'm sorry. We're going through a lot of things with these owners, Central Place and whatever. So I wish this council would please sit down and make sure that we don't lose the grocery part. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Leslie?
Good evening, Council. Leslie Hammond, 1 Linden Place. I have a few things I want to talk about. I have connected with a gentleman that's a security guard and he said that he wanted to be a Hartford policeman, but he had no idea how to go about it, and he said that he felt that other people felt the same way. So I, of course, moved into action. I connected with Officer Jenkins and with Officer Borrega, and they both responded really positively, and I made that connection. So it just makes me realize that when we say we want more Hartford police, people that live here, we have to all really try to pay attention and do a personal connection. But I was really happy that the police responded the way they did, so we'll see what happens. I want to talk about housing. I know that Gwendolyn goes to CRDA, but I don't know if the rest of you are really paying attention to all the different projects with CRDA. I did make a copy of everything. I'd be glad to email it to you. I just didn't want to email it to you if you weren't interested. So let me know, email me, and I'll email you all the different projects. So part of my concern is the apartments now are pretty much 90–95% full, except for a few where they've gotten a little greedy on their rents, like 201 Ann Ucello and a couple others. They're not renting as quickly if they're too high in price. But we still have 81 Arch Street coming along with 53 units, 101 Pearl Street with 157 units, 111 Pearl with 101 units. So there's a lot of housing coming. In the Teachers Corner, they have rented the $700 apartments, but it goes from $700 to $1,750. So the bottom line is I feel like we still need more affordable housing. Some of the apartments are 80-20, which means 80% is market rate, 20% is affordable. But not all the buildings are like that, so I'm not sure why some are and some aren't. And I'm particularly concerned about Park and Main. Park and Main, they're talking about market rents, like downtown. And that's very concerning, and I feel that we need 3 bedrooms there because that's the community in that area. To do 3 bedrooms, they'd need to get some sort of tax credit or subsidy, which is possible. That's what they're doing with Teachers Corner. So you can definitely do that. You just have to have a developer that is willing to do that. But I really need you guys to pay attention because I feel that CRDA and developers are making these decisions, and that shouldn't be. And I'm very concerned that we're going to have a glut of, studio and 1-bedroom apartments. Maybe I'm just not seeing what other people are seeing. I'm trying to sell a condo at Bushnell Tower that I'm really struggling with, so maybe renters do better. I don't know, but I'm concerned about the fact we have so much that's like $1,500 to $1,800 and not enough that's affordable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
I was going to go in a completely different direction, but after Ms. Mosqueda spoke, that hit home with me very hard. Some of you might know that I am the coordinator of the Faces of Homelessness Speakers Bureau in Hartford. And the main function of my job is to bring people who are currently or formerly homeless to speaking engagements. We've done hundreds of them in the past 6 years, all over the state. And Councilwoman Fox knows this very well because her husband founded the group 6 years ago. What Ms. Mosqueda said was no surprise to me. Let me give you a couple of numbers. Right now, as we sit here in the city of Hartford, there are, and I have these from the sources, between 1,300 and 1,400 people in the city of Hartford who are currently experiencing homelessness. South Park Inn has 137 beds. Currently on their waiting list, there are 600 names. Digest that for a moment. They have 137 beds. They have 600 people on their waiting list. That is just one shelter. Where are these people supposed to go? You talk about this commission, Dr. Deutsch. This commission, and I remember because I was here, was an initiative of former Councilman Joel Cruz, and that was over 3 years ago when that commission was formed. What has happened in those 3 years? I know you can't answer me. I want you all to think about it. Why do we make commissions in name only? If you look on the list of commissions in this city, you will find several of them that have not met in a long time, and some never. Either make them active or get rid of them. They are worthless. So what are we going to do about the people who are homeless? And it's not just when it's cold. It's all year long. One of my speakers was living under an overpass in the North Meadows. There's a whole society down there. You might not know. There's a whole city of homeless people living under that overpass. They have cardboard boxes. They wrap themselves up in tarpaulins, and they're down there in the dark and the dank. In the winter, summer, spring, and fall. Thank God for Officer Barrett and some of the other HPD officers who go out there and look out for those people and bring them things they need. So what are you all going to do about this? I'm happy to say that I have a council here of 9 I would like to consider intelligent people. But you spend a lot of time talking about things that are nowhere near as important as taking care of those who a society is judged on by how they treat the least in that society. We've got a lot of least here in Hartford. What are you doing for them? Don't give in rhetoric. Don't talk about commissions. Talk to your mayor. Talk to your committees. Make something happen. We should not have people and mothers and children living out on the street. Senior citizens, these are vulnerable people. Please do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our public comment portion for the evening. We will reconvene at 7 o'clock for our regularly scheduled council meeting. Thank you. Okay, good evening. We're going to get started. Can I have my council colleagues come to the dais and take their places?
There he is.
Okay, welcome everyone to our regularly scheduled monthly council meeting. Thank you all for being here with us this evening in person, and thank you all for those who are viewing on at home. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Present.
Councilman Clark.
Present.
Councilman Deutsch.
Here.
Councilwoman Fox.
Here.
Councilman Gale.
Here.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Present.
Councilman Sanchez.
Present.
Councilwoman Thames.
Present.
Councilwoman Winch.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Madam President, through you, I want to know if it would be okay for us to stand in a moment of silence for the young man who was killed last week.
Yes. And I will add to that, if we could stand and acknowledge Linda Bear, who was a great civil servant to the city of Hartford, who passed away a couple weeks ago. Thank you. Thank you all. Testing? Okay. So before we get into our business agenda, we do have a couple of points of personal privilege on the agenda tonight. First up, I would like to call up members from our Women Commission, Sarah Banda and Janae Faustin. Please join me up here. Thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have a tremendous young lady, Jada Copeland, who is here from the Boys and Girls Club. She has been acknowledged as the 2018 Smart Girl of the Year. And it is my understanding and it is my understanding that this is actually not her first time being a Smart Girl of the Year, but she's a trendsetter. So she was determined to be the Smart Girl of the Year in middle school and now the Smart Girl of the Year in high school. So she is an outstanding leader, an example for all of our young people in the city of Hartford, and we just want to make sure at every chance we have the opportunity to encourage our young people and lift them up. in praise, and we thank you and know that your community is here to support you, and we support you in all your future endeavors. So without further ado, we do have our a couple of our members from the Women Commission here with us this evening to present Jada with a proclamation. Thank you.
On behalf of Mayor Luke Bronin's office, whereas Ms. Jada Copeland is an accomplished young woman and someone who is determined to make things better with the support of inspiration and encouragement that comes from the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford. And whereas Ms. Jada Copeland has been a member of the Boys and Girls Club since age 11 and quickly embraced the club's leadership programs like the Smart Girls and Keystone Club, gives youth the opportunity to give back to the community. And whereas Ms. Jada Copeland has completed more than 2,000 hours of community service and the recipient of the 2016 Middle School Smart Girl of the Year and the 2018 High School Smart Girl of the Year for her outstanding commitment and continuous service to the club and the Hartford community. Whereas Ms. Jada Copeland is enrolled in the Global Communications Academy as a sophomore with hopes of attending Spelman University after graduation and pursuing a degree in government and law to fulfill her dream in becoming a lawyer, and now, therefore be it, proclaim that the office of the mayor of the city of Hartford, along with the Court of Common Council and the city of Hartford, express the sincere congratulations to Ms. Jada Copeland.
Thank you, Jada. Would you like to say anything? Not to put you on the spot. Okay. I'll give you a pass. Next time, though, you're going to say something. But thank you all. Thank you to our women on the commission for your leadership, and thank you, Jada, for your leadership. Thank you. Okay, next, I believe Majority Leader has point of personal privilege.
Evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. I'd like to recognize the HFD Hartford Fire Department. I'd like to present this citation on behalf of the council to engine company number 14. Ty Champagne, Humphrey Getfield, Mercedes Rodriguez, Kendall Janai. This citation is in recognition of your outstanding commitment to servicing the city of Hartford on the morning of Wednesday, October 17, 2018. Group C fire incident number 18-292-030 came together in bringing in a new life to the city of Hartford as they delivered the baby. Your dedication to serve as a firefighter and helping a family at their most needed time, we thank you and commend you for your service to the city of Hartford. We hope that you will all continue to persevere in making our community proud. Thank you so much. I also like to recognize Fire Department District 1 Deputy Chief Robert Patrici, Aide Luis Sanchez, District 2 Deputy Chief Kenneth Cowell, Aide Eugene Dumont, Tactical Unit Lieutenant Daniel McHugh, Pump Operator Richard Kloss, Theodore Freeman, Ryan Matthews, Engine Company 1, Lieutenant Michael DeBella, Pump Operator Enrique Torres, Kevin Alicea, Charles Coleman, Ladder Company 6, Firefighter David Cody, John Highland, Quentin Shapiro, Jeffrey McGisano, and Engine Company 10, Cheyenne Rosado, Howard Kennard, Kadesh James, and Caleb Davila. On behalf of the Court of Common Council, an official citation, District 1, and everyone else that I've mentioned at this point, in recognition of your outstanding commitment to serving the City of Hartford on the morning of Saturday, October 20, 2018, at 20:27 a.m., Group C firefighter and the rest listed saved the lives of 2 Hartford City employees. I would like to extend my sincerest appreciation to you all for your service. Thank you for your outstanding contribution to the City of Hartford. This is one of the many reasons why you are being honored today. On behalf of the Court Common Council and the residents of the City of Hartford, we thank you for your service. In the case, some of you don't know what happened. There was two gentlemen that actually fell into a chute that has a type of grinding screw mechanism in there, and it's in the closed shaft. If they weren't saved that day, this shaft would have torn them apart. Thank you, guys.
He's just passing them out.
District 2. Tactical 1.
Yeah, you want to go out in front?
Engine Company 1.
Go out in front. Yeah.
Ladder Company 6. Engine Company 10.
Thank you. Thank you all for your continued service and leadership on behalf of the City of Hartford.
Thanks for staying in front of us. Appreciate that, guys.
Yes. Chief. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Are you done? All right, I think we have one last point of personal privilege by the minority leader.
Grab this one. There's a couple, but thank you. Goes next. Yeah, sure. Okay. A lot of amazing people have been recognized tonight, and we are also here to recognize the work of a Hartford Public High School student, Darren Mack. Darren reached out to our office with a challenge, actually. He said, I really want us in the city of Hartford, in the public school system, to consider commemorating the 13th Amendment. And I said, I don't think anyone has ever asked us that before. We certainly honor a lot of other people and holidays in our public school system. And then I immediately thought, you know, I'm the granddaughter of rebellious slaves. And I know many of us share this story. I am not alone in this. And I said, and I spoke to the colleagues, and we said, now that's an interesting idea. And so Darren came to us with that idea in mind and has written an essay. Also through the work of Mr. Abate, Hartford Public High School, his teacher. One of the best, yes, one of the best. And his father, who's here, his supportive family. And so this idea came through fruition, and on December 6th, Darren Mack and many at the Hartford Public High School commemorated the 13th Amendment. And so we are here because we want to, in recognition, the Court of Common Council wants to present this award to Darren Mack in recognition of you making the 13th Amendment, in recognition of the 13th Amendment ratification date celebrated at Hartford Public High Schools, your commitment to make the abolition of slavery more visible to other students, youth, and Hartford residents in general. Serve as a way to unite everyone under the principles and ideals that shape the foundation of our country. Your commitment to fighting in the name of democracy and unity for achievement and your service. The Court of Common Council and citizens of Hartford honor you as an exemplary member of the Hartford community. Thank you. Darren also presented this amazing packet that he made. It was a program of the actual date on December 6th. He created this packet along with many other Hartford Public High School students, but it was your idea. And so each and every city council member received one. We have extras for the audience if you would like to see one as well. Any words, Darren?
Yes. Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be recognized for this. I work not only for other people, but so that my children may not have to work for such things themselves. I feel like it is a calling to serve. We are all called to serve one another in some way, shape, form, or capacity, and I thank you all. This won't be the last that you hear of me. Thank you.
And then one more, the proclamation. Sorry, it's like a lot. Sorry. So, as we said before, we're honoring some amazing people in our community tonight. And this one, we want to recognize the Girls for Technology, Inc. So anyone who is with Girls for Technology, Inc., please come up. So Girls for Technology, Inc. actually held a press conference earlier today. And if you don't know them, you should know them. They're an amazing group. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. They're an amazing group, and they started over 3 years ago in Hartford. And they focus on working with young women of color, ages 11 through 17. And beyond that, they focus on really getting these young women focused on STEM. And right now, they've been chosen to compete in California through Facebook because they developed an amazing app, chatbot called Ebony. And so had it not been for the work under the leadership of Sabrina, who's the founder, and so many others that are with her here in the community, this would not be possible. Do you want to read the proclamation?
So with that, we present you with a proclamation on behalf of the City of Hartford, and it reads as follows. Whereas Girls for Technology, Inc. is a Hartford-based 501c3 whose mission is to inspire girls aged 11 through 17 in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, studies, and careers. And whereas Facebook announced a national open call for teens to design a working tech product and develop computer science skills by solving a real-world problem. And whereas Girls for Technology, Inc. created a team of 4 high school girls who met for over 35 hours after school at the Wilson Gray YMCA, located right on Albany Avenue, to create a proposal creating an artificial intelligence-powered chatbot called Ebony, which is designed for young Black professionals to navigate the workplace while also promoting cultural competence in the workplace. And whereas Girls for Technology, Inc., under the leadership of the CEO and founder, Sabrina Tucker Barrett, will represent the state of Connecticut in May 2019 at Facebook headquarters in Silicon Valley to compete in the final round of the Engineer for the Week Challenge to further develop the artificial intelligence product Ebony. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Luke A. Bronin, Mayor of the City of Hartford, along with the Court of Common Council and the citizens of Hartford, express our sincere congratulations and best wishes to Girls for Technology, Inc.'s team and Ms. Sabrina Tucker Barrett as they represent the state of Connecticut and our community in this competition. Thank you. And we have individual citations for all of the young girls as well that actually produced the app. And I know they were all here earlier when we had our press conference, and I think we lost a few. Right. So we will read the name, and I know Ms. Tucker will get them their citations. Angelique Phillips, Chelsea Cranford, Elise Patterson, and Natalie Best. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been truly an uplifting evening. There's been so many wonderful acknowledgments and just all the great work of our community, and just a special acknowledgement to our youth, because you really were so represented today, and it's so important for us to uplift you, praise you, encourage you, because we know that there are barriers that we all face and that you face, and we are trying to make that road a little easier. So we appreciate your persistence, resilience, and just know that we are here to support you. Thank you. Do you want to say something?
I'm honored, and thank you for this opportunity. We've served about 550 girls since inception in 2015 when we started, and look forward to serving a lot more girls throughout Hartford. Thank you.
Oh, picture before we all disperse. Oh, do you want to speak?
No, I'm not one of the girls. I'm speaking on behalf of the girls. I think it was a great opportunity. As a parent, we support them in every aspect that they're pursuing in their lives right now. And I think it was just a great opportunity for them to do this, and I look forward for what the future brings each and every one of them.
Thank you. And so can we get a picture? Make sure we get a good picture. Given this will be the last meeting of the year, this was a really great way to end our year. So again, thank you all for joining us and acknowledging all the great work that members of our community and public servants are doing. So with that, Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider item number 21 from the 11/26/2018 agenda, which is a resolution appointing Franklin Perry and Jack Elovich to the Hartford Stadium Authority.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded.
We have to vote. Yep, let's vote to reconsider. Got to take a vote.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez?
Yes.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilman Gale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch?
Yes.
Pass.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to amend the reconsidered resolution by postponing the approval of Franklin Perry until February 11, 2019.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconded. Any discussion? Mr. Gale.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Just a brief note of explanation. At our last meeting, both Franklin Perry and Jack Elovich were approved as members of the Stadium Authority. However, there's not presently a vacancy for both of them. The vacancy for which Franklin Perry was nominated is not expected to become vacant until February 1st or thereabouts, and so this is just a corrective measure to put in place what we expected to put in place, which is that Franklin Perry would then be seated as of, is it February 11th?
February 11th.
As of February 11th. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez?
Yes.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilman Gale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch?
Yes.
Item is postponed.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider item number 36 from the November 26, 2018 council meeting, which is an ordinance establishing the Columbia Street Special District.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Reconsider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bermudez? Yes? Beat me to the punch there. Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilman Gale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch?
Yes.
Pass.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to remove the address 249 Putnam Street from this ordinance.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Mr. Gale, Councilman Gale.
Again, Madam Chair, just a quick note of explanation. When the ordinance was passed at the meeting, 249 Putnam Street was improperly included. It's not part of the district, and so we're just, having been advised of that, we're just making the appropriate correction at this time. Thank you.
Councilwoman Lynch.
Madam President, through you to Corporation Council, is that a substantive change?
Through you, Madam President, no. In my judgment, it's corrective and ministerial.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez?
Yes.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox?
Yes.
Councilman Gale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch?
Yes.
Pass.
The minutes are from November 26th.
Yes. Wait, is it on there?
No.
Is it on there? Then don't bother me.
Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to consent the following items. Item number 1, 5, 6, 16, and 17.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Minority Leader.
Through you, Council President. For item number 1 specifically, there are several of us who were under the impression that that item was not going to be under consent. But let me speak to item number 1 specifically. So for item number 1, it's understood that there was a grant that the city applied for some time ago in the spring of 2016. And fast forward to where we are right now, the city has received additional funds and grants through the assistance of DEEP, Department of Energy Environmental Protection. And this is in reference to the project for the improvement of specific sections of the baseball stadium, of the Colt Park. Sorry, I had the baseball stadium in my mind for some reason.
As you should have.
Of the Colt Park area, to be clear. And so improvements to the Parks Roberto Clemente baseball field and renovations to other areas. In the resolution that we received, and the information that we received, it states that, I'll pull it up right now. Thank you. There was an Appendix A with the scope of work that contained personal services agreement. We do not have that agreement before us. I did receive communication from the mayor's office at 5:05 this evening in reference to the project, the purpose, and the description, but in light of not having the actual appendix and the actual contract of what that entails, because we are going to be asked by Hartford residents exactly what does this grant entail, I will not be able to vote on this without that information. Thank you.
Councilman Deutsch.
Thank you, Madam President. I too share the questions that Councilwoman and Minority Leader Bermudez just raises. Wouldn't you think that we as a city council should just want a little bit of the substance, like who will, and also a little more input from the residents of the area as well as the whole city, a little more commentary. Who will do the work? Who will be the contractors? Will there be largely Hartford residents doing the work, providing jobs for some people that live in this little city? So nobody would oppose improvements to the field in that way, but we take it as our responsibility to look at it carefully, and if indeed there's a time constraint, which it doesn't say here unless I missed it, we would think we would have a little more time. And since City Council is traditionally in the habit of knocking off the second half of the month in December, we might have a special meeting. And I wonder, I'll pause for a minute. The question raised is if anyone in the audience or at home wants to see what the contract is like, exactly what they'll do, which fields will be improved, and maybe want to make some suggestions, and who should be hired, maybe we should have the opportunity for the public to read these contracts and have some input, and if need be, even have a special meeting. A little inconvenient, but it would give at least a few days, let's say, before the end of the year, so we can all know what we're talking about. I think that's what Councilwoman Bermudez was saying. We need to understand some of the, what do you call it, dotted the I's and crossing the T's before we vote to accept it. And we can still have some time to do so. So that's my suggestion, Madam President, and others on the council, that we just see the fine print. That's all, the fine print. Thank you.
Councilman Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is this item time sensitive? Is that why it's being requested to be consented?
Yes, we received this original grant in 2016 from DEEP and entered into a grant agreement with respect to the field improvements. And at that time, that was about $450,000. So this is an additional funds to support the same scope that was set out in 2016. And so there is a time, it's a time-sensitive matter because DEEP wants to issue the funds within this calendar year and before the end of the year. So that is why it's on consent. Excuse me, Councilwoman Fox, and then Councilwoman Winch.
Through you, Madam President, I just wanted to echo what my colleagues have stated thus far, and I suppose just amplify this trend that, you know, in my short time being on council, I'm noticing is that we are receiving notification of grants and the need to approve of grants very last minute and without a lot of detail, including maybe subtext around the grants or any information. And we don't receive that information unless we make a very specific request. And in this case, our email was answered at 5:05 p.m. today, which is not enough time for us to adequately review and come to an actual decision. And also just to echo what Councilman Deutsch said, it is not in the vein of not wanting to have improvements to these places where our children play and exist. It is merely around transparency and the ability to be able to have all of the information when making a decision.
Councilwoman Winch.
Yes, I have to, you know, echo the sentiments of the council members who have spoken before me, that I see that it was going to ONBGA and Parks and Rec, and I hear from the chair of Parks and Rec that she has an uneasiness about the acceptance. And I'm looking in the third whereas, and it said the contract is reimbursable grant in the amount of $750,000 and will be effective through approval of the contract through December 31st of 2023. But I don't see anything in the resolution that speaks to the time sensitivity that we're speaking of. So, you know, I too have some, you know, unreadiness. I would like to know. I'm not in disagreement, you know, of receiving of the grant nor the work to be done, but I too would like, you know, the information on what causes the time sensitivity, and is there an opportunity to have a special meeting to get everybody information that's desired before we vote on this item.
So is there a motion by those who are not in favor of it be on consent to remove it to action?
Motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone?
Yeah, okay. Move it to action.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made to move the item to action. Seconded. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez. Move it to action.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch.
Yes.
This is the move it to action. Councilwoman Fox.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
I'm sorry, point of order. This is to move it to consent?
To move it to action from consent.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch.
Yes.
Pass.
Okay, now we are back to the original motion on the floor, which was to consent items number 5, 6, 16, and 17, with the exception of 1. So there's been a motion on the floor, properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch.
Yes.
Pass.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you. Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to receive a report item number 4.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames.
Yes.
Councilman Lynch.
Yes.
Pass.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to refer the following items, at which my colleague, Minority Leader Bermudez, will read the description of each. And that is item number 2, to refer to the Legislative Affairs Committee. Item number 3, to the Operation Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee, and to the Public Works, Parks, and Environmental Committee.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Item number 2, with accompanying resolution concerning the appointment of members to the Hartford Film, Video, Digital Media, and Social Media Commission. Item number 3, resolution authorizing the City of Hartford to accept a grant award from the National Fish and Wild Fish Foundation's Long Island South Futures Fund.
Any discussion on the referred items? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch. Councilwoman Fox.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch.
Yes.
Pass.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for the following items to be postponed. Those items are item number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fox.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lynch.
Yes.
Items are postponed. Back to action.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Through you, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for the following item to go into action. Item number 1.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Minority Leader.
Through you, Council President. I will be abstaining from this, but my abstention is because, again, I just want, if we voted for something which we did and approved back in 2016, we're now in 2018, and I personally want to see the full agreement before us, because we will be asked by the residents what the full agreement stipulates, and if we don't have that, it's not all of the information. Now, it's not to say that I am against the project. I've been in support of the project for Cole Park and for renovating the much-needed fields at Cole Park. They're highly used by the residents of Hartford and so many others, but it's just that we need that information. Thank you.
Councilman Deutsch.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to elaborate for a minute, in the appendix and scope of work, personal services agreement, some of us have been for a long time seeking to have employment for Hartford residents. You all may remember the MDC project, the sewer separation project, and I hate to say it, but when you looked at some of the construction workers on the street, the common phrase is they didn't look like us, or they didn't look like residents of Hartford. And this is not a meaningless comment. And don't you think that we should all know, on council and those in the city should know, will it give jobs in working on these fields? Or will it be an outside contractor from out of the city or out of the state? So part of the feature of a important job like this is having our own residents put to work, as well as doing, knowing what we're getting and having accountability for it right here in the city. And this is quite a contract. So I think that's what motivates at least some of us to take just a little more time and to see whether these things are written in. Minorities and women contractors, you know, and all the other features. I mentioned that first because that's so important for our employment. So again, that's why we think we're abstaining, and if if enough people abstain, then we may have to have a special meeting, even if it's a little inconvenient, if we want to make the end of this calendar year. So thank you.
Councilwoman Fox.
Again, just echoing my colleagues, and I'll also be abstaining from this vote.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez?
Abstain.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Deutsch?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Fox?
Abstain.
Councilman Gale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thames?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winch?
Yes.
Pass.
Thank you, and that hereby concludes our meeting for the evening. Thank you all for joining us here tonight, and thank you all for listening in at home. Happy holidays. We'll see you in the new year.